All right, so today I'm going to talk about tire retreads. Why? Well, because one wreaked a lot of havoc. Let's put it that way. We were on Adventure Drive's 8005. We were driving through the desert in Arizona, and let's back up a second. A retreaded tire is a cost-saving measure by the trucking industry, and it saves a lot of money, like universally, like $3 billion, whoopity friggin' do. But if you drive down the road, the amount of havoc caused by these things is astronomical. And a retreaded tire is more likely to fail than a standard new purchased tire. A retreaded tire is where they take the sides of the tires and put a new center section on. So they fuse it together so you have a new tire. You go on YouTube, you can look up retreaded tires and you could see the process and how they put it together. But the retreads tend to fail and you get these giant strips. The center section detaches from the tire and you get these giant strips. It could be because it's a subpar method. People go to save money and you go to the guy on Craigslist to retread your tires. Whatever it is, retreaded tires are legal in the US and and maybe worldwide, but I don't think so. I think it's just in the US. Retreaded tires are legal in the US and the process of retreading makes the tire, or at least if done improperly, I don't know if it's the same, it's more likely to fail. And you have these tire failures leaving tremendous road debris, and that debris can hurt people, can cause damage to vehicles, like you're about to see. When we were in the desert on 8005, I was driving my pristine Ferrari, 12,000 miles, that has been babied for 15 years, 13 years, whatever it is. And in my first week, pow! Check this.
Where's the tire? Whose tire was it? Dark tire. I hate that thing.
Alright, just hit some road debris. I hit a big giant chunk of retread straight under the car. Caused a little havoc behind me with my group because it hit my car, the GT3, it hit the Mercedes, and I think we all destroyed it a little bit by the time it hit the McLaren. But wow, let's see what we got here. That was it was quite the chunk of rubber. Let's see, everybody gave me the shocking face, like my car is fucked up, but I don't know if I believe them or they did that on purpose. Definitely took a solid shot. Here, I got this. Whoosh. That was my pristine front bumper. And hit straight underneath there.
Crash.
Damaged my Ferrari.
Where were you looking?
What's that?
You didn't jump out in the middle of the road.
It was right in the middle of it. I wasn't looking, I was looking at her.
You want a race pump?
Yeah. What'd you guys get? Oh, you guys took a shot.
Lost a piece of trim and it cracked the bumper.
That sucks.
Yeah, there was
Sorry
a lot
about
of bits
that.
in the road that look like parts off our cars.
You have a dash cam?
Yeah.
Save that file. All right, so what just happened there? Well, we were driving along in Arizona, 3-lane road. We're having a good time. I'm now in the front of the pack. Just the way the cars were moving around, I end up in the front of the pack. We're doing about 90 miles an hour. And I look to my right and I see a truck up in the distance with its lights flashing. I'm like, is there an accident? What's going on? I'm scanning. I look over. The order of appearance here, we've got me in the Ferrari. Right behind me is Chris and Rob Dom in the McLaren. Right behind them is the GT3. Behind them is the S63 AMG. And then behind them is a Corvette Z06. There's cameras, obviously, as you just saw. There were cameras in both the Mercedes and the Corvette, both had dash cams. I drive along, and when I'm looking at the truck, I'm like, oh, cool, nothing really going on. As I pan my attention back to in front of me, because it was just open road, I see that the tire is like this in the road. And I'm like, there's no way to avoid it. It's too late. I hit my front bumper, shoot it out from under the car. McLaren goes, and I think that was Rob Dahm. Not bad. I try to like Donkey Kong shit at Rob Dahm all the time while we're driving. He's getting used to avoiding it. And for him, this time it worked out because he was able to avoid it. What that did was that allowed the tire to lay flat on the road as the GT3 went over it, kicked it back up, and the Mercedes behind, boom, everything happened real quick. It's like a matter of like 2 or 3 seconds for all of the cars to effectively pass this tire. And what ended up resulting from all of this, and then the Corvette obviously being the car in the back, seeing the carnage. I mean, looking in my rearview mirror and just seeing cars going left and right, it was like, oh no, what happened? And it was effectively a lot of carnage, all for this one freaking tire that this guy saved $130 on. Now cost me, my pristine Ferrari bumper got cracked and was repainted. I did a BS fix on it just because it's my car. I'm just going to get rock chips on it anyway, but I would have rather not damage my front bumper. The Porsche, no damage. The McLaren, no damage. The Vette, no damage. But the Mercedes, $13,000 in damage. And you saw even when the Corvette in the back was going along, you had the little piece of the Mercedes bumper flapping along. So 13 grand in damage. Just say if I were to fix mine properly, probably be 3 grand. If I had, and I probably wouldn't replace the bumper. I would just do the repair, so about 3 grand. If I was going to replace the bumper, probably about 6 or 7 grand. But just imagine that. If I was a weenie, and not saying the guy in the Mercedes is a weenie, but if I was he just wants a perfect car. If I were a guy who wanted a perfect car, you're talking $20,000 in damage. I mean, if there was one, like this guy in this truck, after he knows he blew out his tire, must look in the mirror and be like, oh shit, what did I just do? And I don't know if there's any recourse. I don't know if we could say like, all right, we go back to the dash cam, here's a license plate of the truck, and make that truck's insurance pay for our cars because he's the one who had a tire failure that, or if it's just like, oh, sorry, road debris, my bad. And it's just amazing that that is legal in the country, because if you can't monitor and make it so that a tire has to pass, if a retread in this world is able to be as reliable as a new tire, if there was a process to do that, how to make it mandatory that nobody else could go around that and retread it for cheaper and make that fail rate so high? Because you see a lot of these. You drive down any interstate in this country and you see blown out retreads all over the place. It sucks. You see a lot of the time in the road. It's always off of the big rigs. That's who does all the retreads. I'm not a fan. Cost us a lot of money, and that sucks. But I get to share it with you guys. So something to keep in mind. Obviously, I'm going to get a bunch of truckers on here being like, retreads are the greatest thing ever. I disagree, because I think anything that increases the likelihood of debris getting thrown in the road, it's like not tarping a dump truck or something like that. Well, yeah, well, sometimes a rock will fall out, but not usually. It doesn't matter. If you tarp the dump truck, rocks shouldn't fall out at all, and that's the way it should be. There should be as little road debris as possible, and retreading tires, not tarping your load. Essentially, like, that's like saying, why strap anything down? Well, most of the time it won't fall off. Anything that increases the likelihood of that sort of sucks. And you don't even have to deal with it, because a lot of the times the retreads in the road, the truck's long gone. Like, you don't know where it came from. It's only when you're so close to the actual blowout that you get damaged like this. So it sucks. That's how my Ferrari got damaged in week 1. And that's also how other cars, it was just a melee of shit, all from a retread. So retreads, Rob Ferretti, not a fan. See you tomorrow.